And now they are going to come back with another shenanigan. RUTO is going to, I am sure, RUTO is going to come back with Raila so that they can start another. The question is asked, who is the best person to replace RUTO? I don't fear RUTO. I don't fear anybody. If I feared them, they would not have. We can stop a chicken thief. Who is RUTO? If we could stop Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, who is RUTO? Even if RUTO is joined by Raila Odinga and the stupid, lazy man called Mudavadi and the watermelon and the rest of them, we can take them and bury them.
You're watching Martin Dean.
Yeah. Whatever he does now amounts to zero. So it doesn't matter whether he supports RUTO. Okay? RUTO gets nothing, zero, no value. Okay? And some of us will, in short while, be declaring what we are going to do in the next phase of the struggle. I will shortly be announcing what revolutionary vehicle and what mechanisms are we going to use to remove RUTO. Not in 2027, before. And now that we have defeated Raila Odinga and RUTO's boogeyman, whom he was going to use to create confusion, particularly in Nyanza, now we have to retire both of them. And we have to retire both of them in jail. And we have to repossess all our wealth that they have plundered and hoarded and misused. Imagine RUTO misused about 13 billion Kenya shillings in the Raila Odinga so-called campaign. 13 billion Kenya shillings. People like Makau Mutua, the orangutan from Buffalo, what I call the toad of Buffalo, has failed fundamentally. People thought, oh, he's going to use so-called distinguished professor, distinguish my feet. He has failed. He was given trinkets to fly around from capital to capital and has been trying to amass as much wealth as he can while pretending to stand for anything. Makau Mutua has been reduced to a pathetic toad. Okay? With this fake American twang. Okay? He can't even be authentic. A man who went to the United States as an adult is pretending that he lost his accent and calls Uhuru Kenyatta Kenyara, Kenyara. He talks like an idiot. So, we've defeated all of them. These fake academic frauds. No wonder RUTO promoted somebody like Sakaja to be governor of Nairobi. Because all they care about is how much money they can actually steal and extract from the public coffers. So we have defeated them. Now we have to make sure that ODM is history. That the myth that united and kept ODM together, having been shattered in Addis Ababa, is history, is gone. We have to create new instruments, new organizational formations, new revolutionary movements to be able to liberate our people so that Kenya and Kenyans can live like free human beings again. So that charlatans and tyrants and looters like RUTO can be punished in our lifetime. That they don't end up dying like Moi with all the plundered wealth, so that his children continue to enjoy ill-gotten wealth, while the majority of hardworking Kenyans continue to suffer and struggle. As RUTO was using billions of Kenya shillings to fly Raila Odinga around with private jets. Our hospitals have no medicine. Doctors cannot be hired. Teachers cannot be hired. RUTO has destroyed NHIF and brought shit sha. RUTO is looting and plundering everywhere. The university education is a joke and is meaningless, because no matter how brilliant you are, no matter how many degrees you have, there is no prospect of real employment. They employ shitsha. People the most corrupt, like Waititu, like Sonko. I know people don't want me to mention them, made billions without having finished primary school. Okay? All they have is fraud. People like Sakaja don't have degrees. And don't give me this, that degrees don't matter. They do. Otherwise, why do you have universities? Why are they using forged documents if degrees don't matter? Why are our children going to school? Why would you go to school, get a degree, and somebody tells you it is not important? Why are you allowing our children to graduate, Kenyans to graduate, and yet you don't want to give them jobs? I know some people are trying to interfere with this broadcast.
No, it's a gift.
It doesn't matter what you do. We are going to succeed, because when you have integrity, when you are truthful, when you are persistent and consistent and fearless, even God cannot fail you. As you can see, God has not failed us. We are on the right side of history, and God rewarded us. People thought, oh, Miguna is just bitter. He's just saying this. What are you going to do when Raila wins? It is so beautiful to say, no, we were right. We were right all along. Okay? I knew we were right. People are saying, oh, you're so prophetic. No, I was scientific. I analyzed this scientifically and reached the only logical and scientific conclusion. Given what I have said, only a lunatic could have said that Raila was going to win. Where was he going to get the votes? That all of a sudden, the president of Senegal, who came from jail and defeated a demagogue like RUTO, was going to vote for Raila Odinga. In which world? In which parallel universe was this going to happen? Oh, because the great Traore, the revolutionary from Burkina Faso, was not going to vote, and his comrades from the Sahel, from Mali and Guinea, all of a sudden, Raila had it. The red carpet is laid out. No, sir. No, ma'am. It was not going to happen. Just like RUTO is not going to succeed. Even a dog in the next election will defeat RUTO if we support that dog. Okay? So there is no way RUTO is going to win. You see, charlatans like, and I didn't want to say this, but I have to say this. People like Rigiji, who were treated so badly by RUTO the other day, even could not have the backbone to stand with us and say Raila must be defeated at the African Union Council chairmanship position. It couldn't. All these charlatans and hypocrites and opportunists were all hoping that somehow it was going to be a miracle and then they could all ride on the back of Raila Odinga. No, it requires a amount of uprightness to be able to be consistent and to stand for your principles. If something is bad, it is bad, even if the entire world said it was good. If something is good, it is good, even if the entire world told me it was bad. So I knew Raila was a con man. I've already been able to prove it. I've meticulously documented in my book, Peeling Back the Mask, which I will launch again this year. Like I promised. I said, this man is going to retire. We are going to force him into retirement. We are going to humiliate him into recognizing that Kenya belongs to Kenyans, not to bandits, organized bandits. The thugs that went to Addis Ababa, the 300 thugs, let's identify all of them, including Babu Patel, the drug dealer, the murderer. He went. We are going to remove them one after another because that is the best way of identifying them. You see, they went to Addis Ababa. We know them, so you know their faces. Meticulously document all of them because they stood with evil. They stood with renegades. They stood with the plunderers. They did not have the backbone when the time, when the roll call was called. When we needed them, they were not there. And now they are going to come back with another shenanigan. RUTO is going to, I am sure, RUTO is going to come back with Raila so that they can start another BBI too. I'm 100% sure that they are going to come back and try to change the constitution to remove the term limit. Okay? They are going to come back to start something else because they have to start some choreography so that they can continue to steal public funds, they can continue to confuse people, and they can continue to manipulate the gullible for purposes of succeeding themselves. So that thugs, semi-literates like Sudi, can chest thump and say they are the best since sliced bread. We have to tell them no. The country belongs to 60 million Kenyans. The country is not theirs. Our rights are not negotiable. The constitution is not negotiable. We, first and foremost, are sovereign. Okay? Sovereignty is in our hands. The people shall, not may. Okay? The people shall govern themselves, either directly or through their delegated appointees or electees, it doesn't matter. They can withdraw the support for these delegates when these delegates abuse power, abuse trust, subvert the constitution, undermine our sovereignty, steal our resources, abduct our people, torture them, and kill them. Because they have committed all these crimes, we are saying it's over. No reprieve, no forgiveness, no confusion. We are taking our power back now. When faced with a chicken thief who is now becoming a tyrant and a plunderer, we can stop a chicken thief who is RUTO. If we could stop Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, who is RUTO? Even if RUTO is joined by Raila Odinga and the stupid lazy man called Mudavadi and the watermelon and the rest of them, we can take them and bury them in one heap, which is what we are going to do. All right? So, form cells, concentric circles, 15, then 15, then 15, of fully committed men and women of integrity fully committed, bound only by the values of valor, values of integrity, values of freedom, values of honesty, values of transformative vision. Once you have that, then we will call a day when we can march on to State House and we can take it. I can assure you, Ruto will take the first flight to Sudan so that he can go and die with the janjaweed that he supports. All right? But if he remains in the country, he's going to committee. And all these big houses that he's constructing for mistresses all over the country will be taken over and will turn them into hospitals and huge, research facilities. He's built very nice places that we can turn into huge medical research, ICT, artificial intelligence, hubs for the country, for the benefit of everyone. We can turn them into huge factories, the farms that he has dotted all over the country, together with the Uhurus. Some of them will be malls, like the Taj Mahal that he has built in Washungishu. That would be a tourist attraction. We turn it over to the Ministry of Tourism and is run properly and earns the country revenue. So this is the way. There will be expropriation without compensation of public land they have stolen. We must expropriate all public wealth that these people have taken. All the banks they are starting, all the hotels they have opened, these are all public. These are all public property, which we must take back. And then run them efficiently, with integrity, to earn public wealth. And then we will turn the cities into modern, well-managed cities of the world, just like I told them in 2017. Nairobi needs a subway system. That's the only way to deal with transport. And Mombasa, and Kisumu, and Nakuru, and Eldoret, and all the cities. There is no city in the world that does not have the majority of its commuters underground. If you don't have that, you're not a city. You're a village. You're a banana republic. Okay? So we want to do this. Tanzania is doing it. They have trams, they have streetcars that are modern. The Dar es Salaam International Airport now is better than Kenya 10 times. And they have done it in the last 15 years. Magufuli did a great job before the Americans took him out. It doesn't matter if they take you out as long as you leave a mark. What you leave behind is a legacy, just like Sankara left a legacy. Revolutionaries don't die as long as you have left a legacy. We are talking of Lumumba. We don't talk of Mobutu, who was there for 35 years, 40 years. Lumumba was not even there for 2 years, but we still talk about Lumumba. We talk about Sankara, who was there for only 4 years. We talk about Nkrumah, who did not finish 5 years. The point is, legacy more important than all this ostentatious opulence, courtesy of our taxes. And once we have these cells, then we have the engine of change. If you turn this into a movement, the cells coming together into a movement, a national reconstruction movement, call it what you want, a national revolutionary movement, a national reconstruction movement, whatever you want to call it, then we can turn Kenya around. It would not matter what age group, it would not matter what gender, it would not matter the level of education. The values are what should and must unite us in turning things around. And that is what I wanted to say today about the meaning of Raila Odinga's defeat, the meaning of Raila Odinga's complete humiliation in Addis Ababa, that it is good for the revolutionaries. It is a terrible failure for the oligarchs, the bandits, the criminals, and should now re-energize us in the final push for the total liberation of Kenya. Let me look at some of the questions that you may have. Okay, so the question is asked, who is the best person to replace RUTO? The movement will decide. Once we have the movement based on values, the best person will emerge out of the movement. It is retrogressive and reactionary for someone to start from the position of, I must be a leader, or it must be this. No. There are thousands of Kenyans who are capable, but we have not created the conducive conditions for them to emerge to the leadership position. Just like in Senegal, you didn't know the current president would be president, and nobody knew what kind of president he would become. But I can assure you, there will, in the next epoch, after our revolution, no tin god, no pictures of people hanged in offices and business places. It's primitive. You hang your parents' pictures, your loved ones, and your heroes. You choose who those heroes are. The state should not choose that for you. So this low self-esteem character, behavior of hanging your pictures all over thinking that you are a semi-god, that will be a thing of the past. I can say that with confidence. Because that's not how proper societies are governed.
When are you coming back?
When am I coming back? As if I left. I was in Kenya last year, but because the conditions are such that revolutionaries can't really earn a living in Kenya. I'm a lawyer, but I can't really practice in Kenya. You know, in Kenya, if you want to win a case in court, probably if you're lucky and you get a good judge, or you bribe. And I cannot bribe anybody. So I practice law where my mind, the ability, the work, the dedication can put food on the table. So that's what I'm doing. I will be back this year, obviously. I'm not going to announce it now, but I will announce a date, and the struggle will continue. You know, I don't fear RUTO. I don't fear anybody. If I feared them, they would not have exiled me because I was not leaving willingly. They forced me out. You don't force a coward out. You force a real revolutionary out because you are not able to face them. And so that's what happened. It does not matter where somebody is. Most revolutions in the world did not take place when the leaders were actually in the country when the revolution was taking place. In Cuba, Castro was in Mexico. All right? In Soviet Union or Russia, Lenin was in France. And in many countries around the world, including the latest one, Bangladesh, the leader was actually in France, in exile. In Iran, the Ayatollah was also in Iran. Most revolutionaries, the leaders of the revolutions, are not always around, but they're around in spirit. The message is out. And with the modern world, where we can use social media, and we can use other modern techniques of communication like TikTok, like X, like Facebook or Meta, we can communicate real time regardless of where we are. And that is the spirit. It should not matter where we are. Wherever we are physically, as long as we can connect and reach one another, we can continue and must continue the struggle. We were able to defeat Raila Odinga even though I was not in Addis and I was not in Nairobi. But really we did. We did defeat Raila Odinga. It was not an accident. It did not happen, but it was not an happenstance. Okay? It was not some God that defeated Raila Odinga in Addis. We did through our work. So we are going to relish in this victory. Okay? Thank you.